like this the
Okay,
entire
great.
round.
Okay, great. Welcome back to Top Deck Productions. This is our Friday Night Magic Modern. I'm Zachary
5.
Creamer.
I'm Keely, also known as Ren, and I'm the one who's been chatting with you guys in chat all night.
Okay, so we've got Hunter versus Zachary. Hunter's on a 4-color Kiki card deck.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't blue-white
Okay.
control like you were saying earlier.
That's cool. Zach is on his Jeskai deck. Zach's been playing this deck for a while. He goes between this and something else, but he usually comes back to this deck. This is bread and butter. He just likes playing tempo.
And we did see Hunter's deck on stream a couple of rounds ago. I believe it was round 2.
Okay.
You would think I would know this because I was the one up there running it.
I mean, they all kind of blur together, man.
It really did. It featured Luke and Luke, and then Luke again. And then this round we have not Luke.
Okay. I think Hunter looks like he's on 6 cards. Great. Rise to the bottom. Fantastic. All right. We're off to the races. Zach's gonna crack a steam vents, crack a scalding tarn to get the steam vents. Okay, we're getting there. I love it when the fetch, the colors of the fetch match the shock that you're gonna go get. It's great. Okay, Zach's at 17. We're gonna do some Serum Visions. Is that 2 bolts? Double bolt. Okay. Well, he doesn't know what he's playing against. I see him keeping one and putting the other on the bottom. Yeah. So you don't necessarily want both. You don't necessarily want either. But one's not bad. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've got Snapcaster Mage. That's great. That's great. Okay. Yeah, I like Zach's hand. It's got a little bit of everything, especially now that he's about to draw a bolt. Mm-hmm. Hunter's just going to play a Misty Rainforest and pass.
And Scalding Tarn number 2.
Mm-hmm. Pass. All right. What land is Hunter getting? It's got to be green or blue.
He's got plenty of options, though.
Yes. Okay, great. Look at that. He really got the breeding pool. That's awesome.
Getting all of the fetches in the right colors.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a personal preference of mine, especially playing in Commander and playing a couple of 5-color decks. I always like to go for exactly the color of the fetch.
Yeah.
Not always the best idea,
always.
but it's fun to do.
Renegade Rallier. Okay, that's cool. That'll potentially
get back the fetch.
That'll.
He's been getting back a lot of fetch lands with that card tonight.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I think that's kind of like the default on the card.
Get that target fetch land.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily have a creature. What is that?
Is that a Seraph Sanctum? Seraph Sanctuary? Okay.
Lotus Cobra.
Yes. One of our many blue sources in the deck that are not a land.
Okay.
There was some serious discourse in the chat about that, and a bolt to the Cobra.
Yeah, you got to bolt the bird. What is the land that's next to the breeding pool?
That is a Seraph Sanctuary.
What does that do?
So when it comes, I believe it taps for a colorless, and I believe. Come on, Mike. There we go.
Yeah.
I am in the worst position holding this.
Let's get it up. Seraph Sanctuary. You gain a life, of course.
And whenever an angel enters the battlefield under control, you gain another life. He does play, I believe it is Resto. Yeah. Blink it back and forth, gain, an indefinite amount of life.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, of course. Like when you, so like, in addition to making infinite copies of the Restoration Angel, you also gain infinite life. Great. Well, I don't think that's really the land he's trying to see early, but whatever. Now we got a Geist. It's a hell of a clock. I think it swings for 6 every turn. Just a great way to close out this game. But Hunter's going to have a million blockers.
Absolutely.
I would like to see Zachary use his removal spells a little bit more aggressively to get the blockers out of the way so that he can safely get in with his Geist. These Jeskai decks, these mid-range and control decks, they typically use their removal spells a little bit more reactively. But I would like to see him use it proactively here and just get whatever Hunter's about to play out of the way if he can. Get back the Lotus Cobra. Not bad.
Not bad at all. I think that's the first time tonight that we've actually seen him not get back a fetch land with it.
Okay, draw another bolt. Fantastic. So what Zach can do here is shock. He can path and he can snap bolt, or he can just bolt, snap bolt.
All right, so we've got bolt number 1 for the turn.
Snapcaster, bolt the other one. I think that's the best use of mana here. He wants to save path for something bigger, something exactly. This is what I wanted to see.
Get in with the angel.
This is what I wanted to see Zach do. Use his removal a little bit more proactively, a little bit more aggressively. He has to close this game. Hunter is going to gain a bunch of value the longer this game goes.
Absolutely.
Zach wants to close it out. He's the aggressor here.
Yeah, and especially going up against a combo deck like this, you have to get in there very quickly with your removal.
I think so too. Yeah, it would be interesting if the Seraph Sanctuary let you gain life whenever an angel entered the battlefield, just in general.
Absolutely.
Here, like he would be gaining a life off of the Geist trigger, but that's not the case.
It is only under your control.
It's only under your control. That's good.
It is a good card. It is not a broken card.
No. So
As I've had to say about a lot of things recently.
Yeah.
All right, we do see the Restoration Angel in hand.
I think he has 2. Maybe that's a path. That is a Felidar Guardian. Does he have Saheeli Rai in his deck?
Yes.
Oh, he has that combo also?
It is 4-color Copycat.
Okay.
And that was actually how it was named on stream earlier.
Great. It's both. Whatever. 4-color Kiki Cat. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
4-color make a ridiculous number of X creature.
Yeah, exactly. Does Felidar Guardian does it combo with Kiki also? Like
I believe so.
The Felidar Guardian can untap a Kiki, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just another key. Okay, great. It's just another Kiki target. That's fine.
Yeah, if I remember my infuriating standard card correctly, it is any permanent. It might be any non-land permanent, but I know it is at least any.
Yeah, that ended up being the problem with it in standard. Is it going to untap the Saheeli, and it's a new Saheeli. And then, yeah.
Repeat ad infinitum. Get banned in standard.
Yeah.
All right, using a Path to Exile
on the Felidar Guardian,
very actively.
Which is a 1/4. You can't bolt it.
It is just out of bolt range.
Right. So Zach's going to get in here for 8. 2 with the Geist, 2 with the Snap, and 4 with the Angel. And that's what I'm talking about. He's using his removal spells aggressively, just trying to close this game. And I think he's got it because like anything Hunter plays, he can.
Yep. Here we go. We got the scoop.
Like Zach had the Cryptic Command. Even if Hunter tried to flash in a Restoration Angel, Zach would just tap it down with the Cryptic. But even beyond that, he just had more than enough attackers. I really like the way Zach played that game. He understood that he was in the driver's seat, that he was the aggressor, and that he had to close that game before Hunter was able to set up and get value. So I applaud that. That's
absolutely. It was a very good use of his removal.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to adjust your play pattern to what kind of a deck your opponent's playing, and that's really what separates like good pilots from people who are just learning the deck or people who are really never going to get the deck ever.
Right.
Zach really knows what he's doing with Jeskai. He's one of my. I often will ask Zach what he thinks about like current configurations of Jeskai or new cards that people are trying out. He's my guy with this deck.
Yeah, this is not a deck that I've personally seen a lot of. As I've said before many times, Jeskai.
Oh, the Jeskai. The Jeskai.
I've seen a bit of the Copycat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't play Modern.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Well, I've played Modern once, and it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or no, it was last Tuesday, not 2 weeks ago. And it wasn't even with a deck of my own building. But I've seen quite a few other decks. I've seen Copycat a few times. I've seen Storm a couple of times. It's whatever gets pulled up on
Jeskai is one of the best decks in the format. It's one of the most played decks in the format. Its conversion rate right now is really great. We've reached a place in the modern meta where the Jeskai players have figured out the correct, like 75, the correct configuration of the deck to beat, basically, to interact with proactively with every other deck in the format. And when you've reached that spot in the meta, Jeskai's the place to be.
Absolutely.
When the format gets, turned upside down, some new card comes in, something changes, turns everything on its head, Jeskai is the last place you want to be. You don't want to be anywhere close to that. These decks rely entirely on being able to have the correct configuration to deal with what other people are doing. Without that, they don't know what they're doing. It's like a shot in the dark, and that's not when you want to play control. But right now, the format has settled, everything's figured out, and Jeskai just preys on that.
Yeah, it does seem to definitely be in a very good position. With Rivals coming out, and especially with us just having gotten the full spoils, do you think there's any cards that are going to shake up Modern a little bit? I
don't know about shake up Modern. Blue-green Merfolk, so players like we saw we've been seeing all night, he's going to have a field day. He's got his pick of the litter. Specifically the 2-mana Lord, and then possibly like a singleton Kumena, the Tyrant that I was talking about. What's up?
Kapala?
No, Kapala was in the last set. Kumena.
Oh no, you are correct.
Kumena, Tyrant of Arazka. They're not making these easy to pronounce.
No.
That one has potential to be like I would like. I think the card's fine. It's good on like a stalled board state.
Yeah.
It can make itself unblockable. It can draw some cards. You get whatever.
Yeah, I'm actually. I
think that card can see play.
As somebody who plays Commander, I'm actually really excited for Commander purposes.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, you could build your whole deck around it. That would be a great. Yeah, that would be a great Commander. Yeah. Totally. Like I could see. Yeah, you would have like all those abilities would be relevant at like every stage of the game. You would even be able to do the 5 and just like I was saying last round, like sure, like the top 5, if you're to that point, you're probably winning. But what about a stalled board state?
Absolutely.
What about where your opponent doesn't have an island? You just keep tapping your guys at the end of your opponent's turn, and eventually they're going to be bigger than your opponents, and you can just overrun them that way. Yeah. So I think that card. I don't know. There's like a new, there's like a red Snapcaster Mage. People are trying to figure out if it's good. It doesn't have flash. You get to like flashback something from your opponent's graveyard, but you can tap mana as if it was any color for it. I don't know. I don't think this set's going to be very impactful. But like any other set, we'll probably see a few cards. Nothing immediately jumps out though.
That's fair. I'm really excited about Blood Sun, and not just for flavorful reasons, because for flavorful reasons, it's really funny.
Yeah, it is.
We couldn't reprint Blood Moon, so let's print Blood Sun.
I think it's funny that it draws a card.
Yes.
Like that's whatever. Like
that's just gravy.
I don't think that's a card. I don't think that's that. Because it's circular. All the decks that want to play that are like fetch land, man land decks, right? Like Jund and even this Jeskai deck. If Zach plays that, sure, like he can play that against like a Valaka deck,
right?
Whatever. But like then he doesn't get to activate his Celestial Colonnades. He doesn't get to crack his fetches after he plays the card. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't shut off Tron either. Tron still gets to tap for mana.
Yeah, it obviously, especially in Modern as it is in the meta right now, it's not something that's going to shake it up. It's not something that's going to throw everything off.
No.
Blood Moon is still strictly better.
Blood Moon is worth building the card around, because if you can have a deck that doesn't care about Blood Moon, that's how you facilitate that card. Like you build a deck that doesn't care about the Blood Moon, and you destroy your opponent's mana base with it. For example, if Zach was playing like a Blue Moon deck right now, Blood Moon would be amazing against Hunter. He's got this super greedy mana base. Like he's very limited to what he can do with each color.
And as we learned in the last round, he actually doesn't play any basic islands.
No.
He has plenty of. If he has a blue sources and two blue lands, but no basic islands.
But like Blood Sun would do nothing in this matchup.
Absolutely not.
It would make it so that like Zach can't activate his man lands. Neither one of them can fetch. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe if you can get someone in a spot with Blood Sun where they're still like setting up their mana base. Like if you can cut them off from being able to fetch while they're trying to sculpt together their mana base, that might be cool. Like if Zach were to play it like right now, and Hunter still needs to like fetch, like he still has fetches in his hand, but I don't see that coming up a lot. No, yeah. I don't think Bloodsun's gonna do anything.
I agree. It is flavorfully though. It is a really interesting.
It's
card.
Cool. I like it. We're just okay. We're doing some.
A bolt.
We're doing some digging. He's got an answer for this Scavenging Ooze. Next turn, unfortunately, he cast.
Bottoming both.
He bolted the bird. He bolted the bird last turn and has 2 Serum Visions this turn to try and find some more removal. He found it, but he doesn't get to cast it this turn.
Yeah, but he unfortunately had to find it. He found it with the first Serum Vision and had to draw it with the second.
So the Hunter gets to untap with the Scavenging Ooze.
Fortunately, there's only 1 target in the graveyard to pump it.
Yeah, and that might not even be his best use of mana this turn.
Right.
These Kiki decks, these Chord decks, Collected Company decks, they always have like a high threshold of 3 drops, so that might be what he's doing this turn. And your mana dorks accelerate you to that.
Right.
It just depends on like how he has his deck built. I just noticed that these kinds of decks always have a disproportion of like mana dorks and then 3 drops. But his deck might be a little different, being like more of a Kiki, like a Chord deck, less of a Collected Company deck.
Yeah, from what I have actually not seen a Chord or a Collected Company from him tonight.
That makes okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't play them.
Well, I don't think he plays Company. He's got 2.
Yeah.
He's an Eldritch Evolution deck. There
yes,
it
that's
is.
right.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So he's trying to. Okay, that makes sense. He's trying to just like jump the gun. He needs a specific. He's trying to turn an irrelevant creature into the specific creature that he needs. He doesn't. But he's not. He doesn't go wide enough for Chord of Calling.
Right.
So he's just trying to jump from like 2 to. He's trying to just jump from like 2 to 4, or from. I get it.
Yeah, and earlier tonight we actually did see him turn an Eternal Witness into a Felidar Guardian to win.
That makes sense. That's pretty cool, actually. I can get behind that. But right now he's just on the beatdown plan. He actually did nothing that turn, other than eat something.
Eat the bird.
Yeah.
Gonna swing in for the 3.
And Zach's gonna take it. That's some discipline out of Zach. Like it can be very tempting to just like throw your burn spell to throw your removal at the creature that is actually on board, but he's waiting to see if Hunter casts another creature this turn.
Yeah, he seems to be a little bit more hesitant to use his removal this game versus last game, but he also doesn't have quite as strong a board state.
Right, and not as much of it. Oh, I get it. He's leaving up the Spell Queller. Okay, he's got Spell Queller, and then if Hunter doesn't cast anything this turn, he'll just bolt. He'll just bolt it at an end step. It takes a lot of discipline, but it's often the correct play to wait to see if your opponent casts something.
Speaking of Eternal Witness.
Yeah, Eternal Witness.
Targeting the Wooded Foothills, I would assume.
Okay,
it's the only card in his graveyard.
Yeah, the other one was eaten. Okay, come on, Zach. Okay.
Now we're going to bolt the Skoos.
Interesting. He's bolting the Skoos. He doesn't care about the Wit. That's an interesting use of mana. Okay.
I would assume that he's doing this in response to the cast, so because Eternal Witness is on ETB, that would also make the Skoos a valid target.
He's already chosen the... He's already chosen the land. Hunter's deciding if he wants to eat something else out of a graveyard, and he decides he doesn't. So I guess Zach did that so that he can maybe get a land tapped. No?
Nope,
okay.
Getting an island out.
Okay then. Yeah, like waiting until your opponent's like second main phase to like cast a creature. He's gonna Oh, okay, I see.
Not.
Okay, so that's cool. I got you. Okay, yeah, waiting until your opponent's like second main phase to see if they cast something else that you may want to bolt more. Not a bad way to go, and that's what he did there.
And that was some good reactive use of the bolt.
Yeah, he ultimately he decided that he wanted to use the bolt on the scavenging ooze, but he waited to main phase to see what else Hunter did, and it turned out that he was able to use another resource to deal with Hunter's play, and then use the bolt. So that's cool. We're up to Cryptic Command mana. I think we've got a... Okay, that's a Resto.
Restoration Angel.
Okay. And Hunter did that at the end of his own turn after Zach put the land into play tapped, which is a smart play. It's a choke point. He's playing around Cryptic Command.
Getting in with Resto.
Playing around Cryptic Command, playing around like Snap, Logic Knot. That's how you play against like these control decks. Is you have to hit them. You have to recognize their choke points on mana,
right,
and try to push your spells through at those times, or just like deploy several creatures or just several creatures at once. They're very good at doing the 1-for-1, but if you can get them to a spot where they have to deal with multiple things at the same time, something is going to get through.
Right.
And that's what Hunter did. I'm actually surprised he didn't Spell Queller that. But maybe, he didn't have the white. He put the fountain into play tapped.
Right.
He didn't have the white for the Queller to deal with the Resto.
So that was the exact right point to push the Resto in.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good play on Hunter's part. I don't think Zach could have afforded to put it into play untapped.
Right.
For no reason.
And we've got Restoration Angel number 2 in hand indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and there's the Spell Queller.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta flash it in, you know.
Get in that
No
blocker
value.
for the Restoration Angel.
Yeah. Hunter's gonna go for an end step Restoration Angel. Which is good. It makes the Cryptic Command hand not look so good because he has to decide between like countering that or using it like and drawing a card or using it more defensively.
Right.
Okay. So Zach is going to he's going to use the Cryptic Command when Hunter goes to combat. He's going to use it to tap down Hunter's team and try and buy himself a turn. Now what that turn amounts to remains to be seen. Zach's pretty far behind. He lost control. He never really had control in the first place.
There we go.
Wasn't really able to keep up. He wasn't really able to keep up with Hunter.
Right. So we've got Cryptic Command and another Scalding Tarn in hand. It's definitely another land.
I think it's. I know he's got a Dispel in his hand, which is.
Oh, is there a Dispel in there?
I don't. Yeah, that's a Dispel.
That's not even a Cryptic.
I don't like that. Did he never have a Cryptic Command?
I must have mistaken the spell for a Cryptic.
Weird. Okay. I knew he had a Dispel. I thought for sure. I saw the swirls on the Cryptic Command. I must have been mistaken. This had to be something else.
No, we were both mistaken.
Yeah. Now Zach doesn't have anything here. He probably thinks that Hunter's on like a on a chord deck because that Dispel doesn't do anything.
Right. Though we did see a Felidar Guardian, so he could be a little tuned into what's going on here. Right, firing up the Colonnade to block.
Yeah, that's where you're at.
Trade 1. Or I'll kill a Restoration Angel, not trade.
Yeah, they trade off here, and Zach just has the Colonnade to block with next turn. If Hunter can deploy a few more threats, he might be able to close this. This is Zach's window to take control of this game.
Getting the Eldritch Evolution.
Interesting.
Well, he is getting in at a time where he only has 1 mana up.
Oh,
so
yeah, this is the time to
dead.
cast it. I don't know what he's going to go and get that's better than Restoration Angel.
So Restoration Angel is a 4-drop, right?
Restoration Angel is a 4-drop.
So I believe that means he can get anything out of his deck because I don't think he plays anything higher than 4 creature-wise.
Kiki costs 5.
That's true. Kiki costs 5.
Kiki is 5. Triple red.
It looks like we're looking at a Renegade Rallier here.
I saw a couple of I saw a couple of 5-drops in there. I think I saw a Thragtusk. So Eldritch Evolution, you can get something that has a lower converted mana cost. Okay, that's cool.
Which is what it looks like we're doing here.
Okay, that's cool.
Getting back
Get
Scoos.
Yeah, that's fine. He had 1 threat, now he has 2. That's cool. He's got the Kiki in his hand.
Yes, he does. And he does have a treasure trove of targets for Scoos.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I see where Hunter's going with this. He's got Zach at 2. Either one of these things is lethal. And this way he doesn't just get blown out by, like, Celestial Colonnade, like, blocking.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, Zach just drew a path. That Dispel is rotting in his hand. Zach can answer both of these threats.
Alright, looks like eating Spell Queller.
Mm-hmm.
Gaining some life.
Are there any other creatures? I don't think so.
Can Scoos targets in any graveyard?
It can target any card in any graveyard.
So Hunter has 2 different Restoration Angels in his graveyard that he could potentially hit.
Oh, okay.
Not that it does much here since he is Scoos is getting pathed.
That's curious that he didn't use that other mana at the end of the turn to eat a Restoration Angel. Anyway, we're seeing a path on the Scoos. I hope Zach reminded Hunter that he can go get a basic land, because you have to do that now. That's a rule. I don't think I've ever actually seen someone do that, though. Remind their opponent that they can go get a land.
I have actually reminded people as Streamrunner.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice of you. When I heard about that rule, we all had a good laugh about it. I think really what that rule is going to amount to is that if you forget to go get the basic land, your opponent will get, like, a warning, and that you will be able to go and get the basic land, even if you forget. Like, if you remember, like, a couple turns later. Anyway, Scoos down.
Fetch an out of basic.
I like how Zach's Colonnade is just up there in front, you know, as if it were animated. It's not.
It's just really ready to be animated.
It's so ready.
All right, it looks like
we got another Renegade Rallier. That's cool.
Unfortunately, cannot get Bexcus this time.
And it can't get the Restoration Angel either. That's too high of a converted mana cost.
I believe the only thing in Hunter's graveyard that he'd be able to get at this point is, in fact, a fetch land.
Yeah. He needs more red sources. Maybe you can get a red source. He's still a few red cards. He's still a few red sources shy of being able to cast his Kiki.
Now he's only got 1 on board.
Yeah.
All right, looking at another
Eldritch.
Yep.
All right, spin the wheel. Where are we going with this one?
Up to 5 CMC for this one.
I saw a Thragtusk in there. That's not a bad target.
Thragtusk is never a bad target.
Oh, that card.
Oh, a Muldrift.
Whew.
That's some pretty sweet value.
That card is sweet.
It is.
I don't even play blue cards, and I think that card is cool. That card is dope. I have a friend who loves that card.
And we drew into another Eldritch Evolution.
Yeah. And it rains, it pours. That is so cool. Okay. Another red source. Oh, man. Kiki, even if he doesn't... Okay, well, interesting. Hunter has filled his deck with value creatures, so that even if he doesn't, like, go infinite with them, he's still getting value. Like, Kiki on this Muldrifter, draw 2 cards. Yes, thank you.
That has some serious value.
A 2/2, like a 2/2 flying haste that draws you 2 cards. That's great. That's going to draw you into the ones to go infinite with.
Dropping a birds.
That's his 3rd red source.
It is also interesting that he chose to get Muldrifter here, because if Zachary wants to go in on the beats, the Muldrifter can block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are a lot of things, like, there are a number of things, like, in his in Hunter's deck that can block. That bird can block. That bird has flying. I would like to know if he's got Gavany Township. Sometimes, like, these, like, grindy, like, 3 or 4 color whatever Chord, Company, Eldritch Evolution. Sometimes these decks, they have Gavany Township for when the game goes long, and you just want to, like, you can make your guys bigger than, it just gives you inevitability. Especially if you have a way to, like, go and get that land, like a Knight of the Reliquary.
Right.
It's just another outlet. Like, I've seen Gavany Township turn, like, Bird of Paradise into, like, 4/5s over the course of a couple of turns, and you just beat them down with that.
Yeah, Gavany Township is a great card that I feel is underrated in a lot of places.
Yeah, typically the decks that play it, sometimes it's a one of an Obzon, but otherwise it's in, like, it's a Knight of the Reliquary deck so that you can get it out reliably. But I've also seen it out of decks like this and Coco. He could easily have it in his deck. Is he just playing the 2/3 as a 2/3? Okay. Okay. So he played it so that he could Eldritch Evolution it. He's going for another 5-drop here. Got it. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Kiki is in his hand. I doubt he plays another one, and he probably would have really liked to have gotten it at some point.
Yeah.
Off of one of these 3 Eldritch Evolutions. What do we got here?
We're getting
We're getting Ewit.
Turtle Witness.
We're getting Ewit to buy back either the to buy back the that's perfect. He's gonna buy back the Restoration Angel.
Or the other Eternal Witness.
Okay. Okay. Which will then buy back the resto value.
Yep, slowly building up his board state again.
Oh, the value. Yeah, he's just trying to, he's going for a go wide thing. Zach can't answer all of these threats in one turn cycle. Hunter's just trying to get enough threats on the board. Or maybe he can.
All right, we've got a Snapcaster Mage to path the Eternal Witness.
Yeah, Zach has to deal with all of these threats as Hunter's playing them. So Hunter is just trying to, like, go wide, play more threats than Zach can deal with in a turn cycle, and then do that last 2.
It looks like Hunter is failing to find on the path.
It's a 4-color deck. Like, he has 3 basics out already. Like, dude, I play 3 basics and burn. Like, you run out of basics eventually. You can only fit so many in, especially with a greedy mana base like his.
Right, and this is a fairly greedy mana base being in 4 colors.
Oh, yeah. Bird helps, but you don't really expect, like, your first bird to stick around either.
And we definitely did not see the first bird stick around this game.
No. So Zach's still in this game somehow, but I think we're going to see the Kiki here. I can make a copy of this Mole Drifter.
Gonna get
No, we're going to go with
Eternal Witness.
Eternal Witness. He can still cast the Kiki.
Get back
Resto.
Angel.
Okay. So we'll see Resto at some point on Zach, like at the end of Zach's turn, and then Kiki. Hunter's just taking his time. There you go. Flash that bad boy in. He can play both. Yeah.
Choosing to, get the Mole Drifter, draw some more cards, get some more sweet value.
Yeah. Hunter's got his engine going. He can even go for, he just drew the Saris. Yeah, he just drew it. So he's going to end the game with infinite life. All right. We're going for the Kiki now. What is Zach's answer? Scoop. Okay.
All right, on to game 3.
So I like the way Hunter navigated that. He took his time. You know, it can be tempting, like, when your opponent's at 2 life, you just, like, take an aggressive line to just close out the game. But he took his time. Zach also didn't, like, draw particularly well. But Hunter took his time and, like, got a bunch of threats out. Zach wasn't able to deal with all of them. And then he won.
Yep, was able to play it out very carefully, careful of counter magic as well. Unfortunately, Zach just did not have the counter magic this game.
No, and he only saw, like, he saw quite a few removal spells, but it wasn't enough. Hunter was able to keep pace. What are you going to do? But now Zach's on the play again, which is huge. It's huge for these decks. Like, he gets to turn 1 Serum Visions, sculpt his draw, and, like, instead of being on... He can play more, like, game 1 we saw him, like, have a very aggressive, like, proactive play. That game 2, he was on the back, like, he was on the back burner the entire time.
Right.
He had to react to everything Hunter was doing every step of the way, and he just couldn't keep, and eventually he just couldn't keep up. But this, he gets to start out with like Serum Visions to sculpt his draw. He'll get to Cryptic Command faster. Being on the draw, being on the play here is massive, especially for Zach.
Yeah, especially really in just about any control deck is really, really good.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you're playing something sweet. Yeah, especially if you're playing like Geist. Maybe we can see that again. I'd be interested to know if Zach took out the Geist like game 2 because Hunter's just going to have more creatures.
Right.
I think that would be cool if you switch it up, like if it's an on the play, on the draw thing. Maybe you took them out entirely.
Yeah, and we have seen Hunter have some really sweet flying creatures like Muldrifter.
Yeah.
And while it can't, you know, obviously it can't kill the angel, but it can, you can chump for days.
You can chump for days, and you can trade with the Geist. You only need to trade with the Geist once. Like, you can take 4 damage. Like, Zach's not going to attack into a blocker that will trade with his Geist. He's just going to sit back and, like... Okay, Zach's putting it back. I think Hunter's, like, Hunter looks like he's keeping his...
Yep.
He's either tired or not happy about it, but he's keeping his. Zach's gonna put it back.
It looks like chat is being interesting as ever tonight. There is some serious discourse about the proper utensils for eating macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
Apparently the entire chat has decided that fork is the correct one.
Yeah.
I also have to agree with that.
Yeah. All right, what do we got? Zach's keeping, scrying, put it on the bottom. I can just tell from the hand motions.
All right, so we seem to be into the thick of it. Land go, land go. And it appears our stream runner up there isn't paying attention. There he is.
Yeah, there we go. Overhead. Okay. So we just got some some lands coming into play tapped. You know, that's how it be sometimes. Like you spend the first couple of turns like building your mana base. More of these Seraph Sanctuaries. He must be playing 2. I think
we saw 2 in his hand at the end of the last game.
That is interesting. That's in this 4-color deck. He has a land that taps for colorless. I don't even know how relevant like being an infinite life is. Like you made infinite you know,
infinite flyers.
You made infinite flyers. Don't you just win the game then? Like isn't the being an infinite life redundant?
Oh, and it looks like we are discarding to hand size there. Oh, there's land number 3.
Okay, he missed a land. No, I see.
He did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did miss a land drop.
He missed a land drop, which is unfortunate.
Oh, Spellcaller.
See, Zach is not wasting any time.
Absolutely not.
Is not wasting any time. I love how speaking of the oath of Nissa, I love how green has the best cantrips in this format. They will ban any blue cantrip that is better than Serum Visions, but they'll let green have an enchantment that's actually Ponder.
Oath of Nissa is a great card.
Oath of Nissa. There's Oath of Nissa. Oath of Nissa is a hell of a card.
And it is great, especially in this deck, just because it lets you have the color fixing for Saheeli.
Yeah, it's probably like a one-of, but like the enters the battlefield effect isn't bad. Like being able to dig for a creature or like a land or whatever, that's not bad.
Yeah, and there's no reason to only play it as a one-of, with that being the case.
Fair. It's Ponder.
Yeah, in green.
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. Like between Ancient Stirrings and Oath of Nissa, like green has like the best cantrips. You have to build your deck around them a little bit more, but God, they just like the dig on them.
Yeah.
If those cards were blue, they'd already be banned.
Absolutely. So I have heard a lot of people have been talking about what we might see ban-wise in Modern. I've heard a lot of people saying that they think something in Storm's going to get banned. I have no idea what.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Storm breaks the turn 4 rule that Modern kind of has, is that you're not supposed to win before turn 4. Storm can win on turn 3. Storm can like play its dude and untap with its dude and 3 mana and just win the game on turn 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can kill the dude, and then they untap on turn 3 and play another dude and then win.
Right.
And it's those draws that are like, are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the problem with it, is it breaks that turn 4 rule.
Right.
I don't know what you ban, though. Like,
probably the most interesting thing that I've heard suggested to get banned is actually Metamorphose.
That's fair. It's a cantrip.
Most importantly, it lets you fix your colors.
It lets you fix your
otherwise,
colors.
you're just making an enormous amount of red mana.
That's fair. The other one that I'm gonna have to think about that. That's not bad. The other one that I've heard is like this whole like it goes hand in hand with the whole like ban 8th and 9th edition thing.
Okay.
And what that would do, and people don't think about this one a lot because you think of like, oh, that like 8th and 9th edition that takes care of like Tron and Ensnaring Bridge and Blood Moon. You know what's in 8th edition? Sleight of Hand.
Oh.
Which is just like, yeah, like you ban 8th and 9th edition, like Storm doesn't have Sleight of Hand anymore. It's really, really subtle thing. I don't know. If they ban something out of Storm,
ooh, another spell queller on the Felidar Guardian.
maybe it's time to quit dealing with symptoms and just ban the deck. Like
Right.
you can go out, you can ban like Grape Shot or like Empty the Warrens or something. I don't know.
Past in Flames would probably kill it.
Yeah.
Past in Flames.
Maybe. I don't know. It'd make it harder.
Yeah.
Banning Past in Flames would definitely make it a lot harder.
It just depends on if they want to go after like a symptom or they just want to kill the deck for good. And I think like if we see, I'm really interested to see what they do. My prediction for the Modern Pro Tour is that Sam Black is going to win the whole thing with Lantern Control. Everyone's going to go in there with Jeskai and Shadow, or the deck they qualified for that tournament with, and Sam is going to destroy them every round with Lantern and subsequently get Lantern of Insight banned. That is my prediction. Lantern of Insight is the card. It's not in any other deck. Lantern of Insight is what makes that deck work. If you can't see the top card of your,
Well, it's the namesake of the deck.
Yeah, if you can't see the top card of your opponent's library, the deck doesn't work. Zach is at a healthy life total.
Very.
He has a great board.
Has been able to answer anything Hunter has played.
That's the idea. That's the idea. And we're gone. Okay. Well,
I've got nothing going.
I've got nothing. This game's over anyway.
Well, no, I've got no buzzing. I can still hear you.
Really? You can still hear him? Oh, okay, we're back. I couldn't hear anything for a second.
Yeah, and that's game.
That was game. Like I said, the game was over, and I still had all these. Not the best sportsmanship, but
yeah, but Zach definitely had that.
He's being a good sport about it though. Yeah, they both are. Well, Zach didn't want to play; he wanted to go home. Hunter wanted to play, and now he's disappointed.
But we definitely see more than just being on the play there. Zach just had every answer possible.
Yeah, like if he had seen like a few more answers like last game, he may have been able to pull himself back in. But it was the combination of being on the play and just having more answers. Like
he just had everything ready to fire.
Yeah, double Spell Queller there to put him on to be able to react and put him on a clock. That's where you want to be. That's been the best addition to this Jeskai deck is Spell Queller. Like, when they started putting Spell Queller in the deck, I was like, duh, that card's amazing.
Spell Queller is a really good card.
Spell Queller is the truth, is the future. And I see Jeskai decks playing it for, like, here until the end of time, just like Snap. All right. Well, that's going to be it for it tonight.
With our rotating cast of commentators.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know, maybe we can get, like, a more... a little bit more consistency, but whatever. It's fun switching people in and out.
Yeah, I've never seen this happen before. Usually it's... Well, we've had a lot of people who have been out sick. I got sick with the flu like several other people. One of our other stream runners is still down and out and missing. No idea where he is.
Yeah, whatever. It's an off week. All right,
Very off week.
Well, that's going to be it for tonight at Top Deck Productions.
Here in GameSwap Mason, the very, very cold Mason area.
I'm Zachary Creamer.
I'm Keely, otherwise known as Ren.
And we'll see you next time.